to at least put out the...
Yes, absolutely. The number one thing that is gripping Cairo this evening is a lack of security services, more rather, that includes things like emergency medical services, including like, fire trucks and fire services, as well as, just basic police and even traffic officers on the street. All of those very key components of just basic daily civilian life have completely collapsed in the past 24 hours. So, yes, we're talking about that fire burning. I haven't seen any fire services trying to put it out, and it will be a much more disastrous situation if indeed it does spread to nearby buildings. At the same time, the traffic in the city this morning during the hours after the curfew was completely chaotic. There was no traffic officers to try to kind of navigate or control the streets, and as we've been reporting in the past several hours, the lack of police has created a great sense of fear among people as these reports of lootings and vandalisms continue to expand.
We know that you'll be following events for us there, and certainly what's going on very close to the National Museum. Ayman, thank you. Joining me now on the line from Cairo is Nawara Negm. She's an Egyptian journalist and activist. Welcome to Al Jazeera. You're on live. Just tell me exactly where you are at the moment and what you can see. Hello Nawara, can you hear me? It's Sahil Rahman here at Al Jazeera's headquarters in Doha. Can you hear me? Well, we'll try and get back to Nawara very shortly, but we'll move on. And earlier, my colleague Jane Dutton spoke to Mohammed El-Baradei. He's the former head of the International Atomic Energy Agency and Nobel laureate. He's one of Egypt's significant opposition figures, and says people now want real change.
Yesterday, came on television, and again, although I have a lot of respect for him, I worked with him for a long time, and while I was Director General of the agency, I was disappointed because you can't have the cake and eat it. He said we want to work with the Egyptian people and want to work with the government. This is you cannot do. And then we're entrusting the government, meaning Mr. Mubarak, with democratic reform. I mean, this is an oxymoron. I mean, the first phase of a democracy is a change of power. The OS, is losing a lot of credibility, particularly when people perceive it to be supporting authoritarian regimes in the name of stability, and ignoring the plight of the Egyptian people and other people who are being repressed. They are ready to come to into a stage of rage, when it's happening in Iran, or Burma, but when it is happening in a friendly dictatorship, they are mute, and that, of course, does not, you should not be surprised when they are losing their credibility in this area.
Well, back to live pictures from Cairo. The headquarters of the ruling party, the NDP, still on fire for certainly the second night. And let's cross over now on the phone to Nawara Negm. She's an Egyptian journalist. Hello, Nawara. I think we can speak to you now. Welcome to Al Jazeera. Just tell me exactly where you are right now and what you can see. Well, we do seem to... Hello, Nawara. Can you hear me? No, it seems that the phone lines are pretty bad at the moment over across Egypt and Cairo. Hello, Nawara. Can you hear me? I think we're being told you can hear me.
At the moment, I'm at home, but I took part of the demonstrations in Tahrir Square up to this evening. By the grace of God, demonstrations are still going on. There is a heavy presence of security, I mean the army. Me, myself, and other eyewitnesses, what we have seen that the police security have took off their uniform and dressed as the civilians. They are now wreaking havoc, vandalizing everywhere. But after being arrested, we realized that they are security personnel. It seemed that the regime is trying to manipulate and trying to illusion the people that there are.
However, if that is the case, and you're accusing the regime of trying to manipulate the situation, what are your local neighbours and neighbourhood doing to protect your property?
This is it. A few minutes ago, I was speaking to my household and my neighbors. The neighborhood youth have formed civilian watch groups like vigilantes, and I am looking out of the window now. I see the young people of the neighborhood are standing at the skirts of neighborhood. They are armed with sticks, and they are watching across the neighborhood. And whoever is suspected to be outside, not an outsider, not from the neighborhood, is being stopped and searched. Now, I assure you, all and every single youth in Egypt have joined these civilian watch groups like the vigilantes, and we believe that it takes time for the army to deploy. The Egyptian civilians youth are protecting their own lives and household.
At the moment, security is non-existent across the country, with the exception of the army looking after government buildings. Will you continue to maintain these vigilante groups until the demands of the public are met, and that is that the president steps down? Will you be happy to have those vigilante groups on the streets?
We will continue to demonstrate on the one hand, and we will continue to defend our lives and property and household on the other hand. We'll continue to maintain this national security of the Egyptian people. This man, Mubarak, has smashed our humanity. He, even at his last days in the rule, he is still insulting us. Now they are releasing thugs from the police personnel, but we will stand up to ourselves. We will defend our household, we will defend our property, and we believe this is the last ditch attempt by Mubarak. Throughout history, the Egyptian people held their heads high. They always stayed fast. They always stand defending their own lives and property.
For the moment there, Nawara Negin, thank you very much for joining us from Cairo. Of course, we can bring you still pictures from Cairo. This is actually the Supreme Council for the Press Building, which is very close to the NDB building that was ransacked and gutted just a few nights ago. So, and it's all in the area, very close to the National Museum. So you can see the pending worry for authorities as they can't get those emergency vehicles to the area to put that fire out. They certainly do not want it to spread. Well, in the past couple of hours, the army has announced that it'll be deploying extra enforcements or reinforcements on the streets of Egypt to maintain the calm. This comes as more reports of looting and thugs attacking houses, as we've just heard. The Egyptian Defence Ministry has also issued a statement asking for people to respect the curfew.
In the name of God, to all of you honest Egyptians, the Defense Ministry wants to let you know that there are a bunch of outlaws and thugs who are going around the country causing havoc, looting and committing serious crimes. We call on you to stick to the curfew, and you have to trust the Defense Ministry that it will be handling the situation with a firm hand and arrest those thugs. I call on you all to follow these instructions for the sake of protecting our beloved Egypt, and I also call on the Egyptian youths to stand against those thugs to protect their honor and possessions. The Egyptian military is always committed to protecting Egypt and its people.
Well, army commanders on the streets of Cairo have been trying to side with demonstrators in an effort to absorb their anger.
Thugs are everywhere now. The corrupt businessmen are cowardly staying home. We headed downtown yesterday. Many honest men like you told us, help us. There are thugs going around looting and wrecking shops, help us. And they were supporting and helping us in doing so. We cannot separate the good from the bad. We demand one thing and one thing only. I will take off my army uniform and join you on the street. Demonstrate and express yourself as much as you wish, but at night, clear the streets and let us handle the thugs.
Well, joining me on the line now from Heliopolis, neighbourhood of Cairo, is journalist Noah Morgan. Thank you for joining us, Noah. We're gauging opinion and also eyewitness testimony of people around the capital and across the country as to what they are seeing right now. Can you tell me what you are seeing and experiencing in your neighbourhood?
outside our window, the men from all the buildings have gone down to the street. They have sticks, they have knives, and this is the only thing they're armed with, and they've kind of created their own civilian force on the streets. The women are providing tea and sandwiches, almost like the movies, and they're throwing down kitchen knives from the windows for random men to catch on the street to protect themselves.
And of course,
They've asked people to turn on the lights on their balconies to create a sense of more safety for everybody around. And there are rumors. The rumors are now going all ways. Some people are saying these rumors were induced by the government to distract people from going to the demonstrations, while others are saying it's real, we've heard it, we've seen it. But I have not spoken to one person who has seen any of these gangs firsthand.
are you worried? Are you concerned?
Yes, I think we are all concerned.